when I actually signed Martin Wilkinson, who was the chief scout at the time. I came down, I'd agreed the deal with Clark, who would put pen to paper, and I was in the porta cabin. There was Brian Hanley, I'm sure most of you remember Brian. Nice, lovely fella, and Brian was in there behind his desk, and Martin came in and said, "Oh, Ronnie signed." I said, "Oh, great, shook hands." Anyway, this lad came in, supporter, and he came in. I don't know if any of you have heard this. I'm sure there'll be one or two who've heard it. He came in and he sees Martin. And he goes, "Hey, up! When are we signing all these great players?" So Martin's laughed. He had a weary smile, and Brian, the two of them kind of looked at each other. And I'm directly behind the guy, so I'm just standing there, not saying a word. And he goes, "Hey, you're not going to answer me then? When are we signing these great players?" And Martin went, "It's Ronnie, we just signed them." He looked at me like that and he went, "Who are you, mate?" So Brian Hanley goes, "It's Ronnie Glavin plays for Celtic." And I'm like, "Who?" So he says, "It's Ronnie Glavin plays for Celtic." "I've never heard of you, mate. When are we going to sign these good players anyway?" Like, you know. So that was my welcome to the club. Like. Alan Clark was quite smart in his approach, because I had about half a dozen clubs I was speaking to, and we discussed money, discussed finances, and he said, "Oh, I can't afford that." And we went for lunch. He said, "Come on, we'll go for lunch." And I was flying back for Leeds Bradford. So we went for lunch and we just talked. It was Martin Wilkinson, Clark and myself, and we talked for an hour and a half, and he says, "Come on, go back up to the club." Now, bear in mind, the deal was off, so I was just waiting past the time before got the flight, and just sat in the office and we were like, "Right, deal's done, that's yours, you've got your money." So it put me under pressure. It threw me, because I'd put a figure beyond what I thought was, and he said, "We can't afford that," end of story. And there was no deal. So he says, "Right, you've got 7 days to think about it." And I went, "Oh, well, I've got teams to speak to, 7 days. Anyway, about 2 days later, he phoned me up and says, "You've got 24 hours to think about things." He says, I'm in the process of signing players." So I was put under pressure, and that's what happened. So I came down. Things just seemed to be right at the time, you know what I mean? It was, the good thing is that what I liked was the fact that nobody knew me. And that was good. And that particular week, there had been an article in the Celtic View. They have their own newspaper, and I had scored one in my career, one in every 2.8 games. And he says to me, he says, "You've scored 1 in 3 goals in your career." He says, "So you're going to score me 15 goals for midfield?" I went, "No, but that's my record. I'm telling you, that's my record. I can't say what I'm going to score. I don't know what it's like." And he went, "Nah, you'll not score me that." So that's really it kind of inspires you in a sense, because you think, well, I've done this all my career, so I'm not going to stop now, man. You know what I mean? And I was fortunate enough, I scored 23 goals.
What were your thoughts and feelings of coming to live in Barnsley from a big city like Glasgow?
I've lived in Barnsley longer than I've lived in Glasgow, so I'm for Barnsley basically, you know what I mean? It's a strange thing. Glasgow's a big city. It's a divided city, and the area I come from, we're brought up in a rough part of the city, which is probably what makes you, and gives you the opportunity to doing what you're good at doing.
Yeah.
So I think that was the beauty of Glasgow at the time, because there was very little up there, and it gave me the opportunity to show what I was good at doing. If I'd had a background where I had to go to private school and so on, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So in a way, so it was good from that point of view. Glasgow was great. All working class areas are the same, and this is, I'm used to this. I came down, lived here, always lived here. My 2 kids are born and bred here. I'm one of those sort of characters that things irritate me in the sense that, I'll give you an example. You come a bit defensive of where you are from, and you know, things like when I go and watch my lad Connor play, I remember when he was young, we were going to Sheffield, and they would say, "Oh, look at the dingoes coming early," and it used to irritate me so much, like, you know. But that was throughout my life, and I remember there's a tale again. We played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and I remember coming outside. I come in to sort tickets, and there was a group of Chelsea fans, and they were all laughing at us. You know what I mean? They were talking about Barnsley, and they were the Barnsley people. Have you seen them all? The you know, the I can't remember how they described everybody. And he says, he said, we'll take 4 or 5 off them a day. He said, they're hopeless, this lot, you know. And I was so annoyed and so infuriated. We actually beat them and I scored. And when I scored the goal, I ran straight across to the Chelsea fans. And I thought, I wonder where they are now. So things like that irritate me, you know. So the thought that people kind of wrote you off, and the players that we had here at the time, we could go anywhere and get anybody again. We had some really good players here. So, you know, we were fortunate. I've lived in Barnsley longer than I lived in Glasgow, so I'm the part of the clan, you know what I mean?
There's something special about this place, isn't there?
Yeah, listen, it's one of the best grounds to play in. Make no mistake about it.
I mean, the pitch, this is what? This is April, look at that pitch. It's like bowling green.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You know,
you want to play. You want to play. You want to
get and play in that.
You know, there's no better feeling, you know, than going out there. It's just a great situation, a great environment. So I enjoyed that. You really enjoyed playing here. I had quite a basic approach to the game where I just like to play, score goals and make goals, and that was what my game was all about. You know, whether it was selfish or, you know, whatever, single-mindedness, whatever, I felt I didn't do well unless I actually scored or made a goal. So that's what I was about, and you know, you just think along those lines and you try and, you know, perform to that, make sure you do that in every game. So, home or away, you know, and very often a lot of people wouldn't realise, but I would get man marked and follow me everywhere, and I had to. People didn't quite grasp that you know, somebody was marking me, and in the days they tended to leave a mark on you. You know, you need to overcome that, and that was the more goals you score. That's happened all the way through my career, because you score goals, you tend to get that kind of attention, and sometimes it can be a bit brutal, you know. So I was taught that to overcome that, and Jock Stein was a great manager, and he taught me that no matter how you're playing, he says they're paying you a big compliment, but man marking you like they do. He says, but you got to be ready. You got to be ready for that one chance, whether it's the first minute or the last minute. Be ready for it. And the amount of times I scored later on in the game was because of that. You know, so it built that into my head that I had to always to be, you know, okay, I'm at the game, but just give me that one chance. And that was, I had to the faith and the belief that I could take my chance. So that was why. A lot of the goals that I scored were quite late on, and somebody got to sleep and I was in.
So would you say Jock Stein was your mentor at Scotland? Who was your mentor at Barnsley?
Well, the guy that I started playing under was a fella called David McParland at Partick Thistle. He was still a player. He was a young coach, and he took over as manager at Partick Thistle. I was fortunate to have played in the reserves at 16, and the club eventually got relegated, and he just promoted all the kids up. So at 18 I was in the first team, and he promoted all the kids. We won the second division title, and then we went on to win the League Cup, which was unbelievable at the time. We went from literally backstreet kids to being from a little piece in the back page to the front page of the papers. It was quite incredible at the time. He was good. He was like a father figure to me, Davy, and everything that I am today is down to him. You know, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
At 16, he becomes your father. We're all young lads at the time. A lot of good, very, very good young players. I think about a 2 or 3 year period to get 9 full internationals through.
That's
So
pretty good,
yeah, which is it was unique, but just one of those sort of call it whatever, just a passage in time where a lot of good young players all came along, and he managed to nurture them and get them through, and they all done well. Scoring a goal it makes your week, certainly with me. I don't know how. I can't comment on other people, but my whole week revolved around the goal, scoring a goal or making a goal. If you score and you've done well, you've got a great week ahead of you. If you don't score and you lose, you've got to work that bit harder to get to recover. So it was good. It was great to score. I enjoyed scoring goals,
And you scored the goal, Ronnie, that got us back into the second division in 1981 against Rotherham.
Yeah.
What was the feeling of yourself and the players on that day?
It was a big event in the sense that we felt a little bit, I won't say cheated, but we should have won that league. We were by far the better team, and so to go up, that was the next best thing, obviously. But I just felt that we'd had enough in our locker to win the league, and so we went up in second place. But ultimately, you've got to be happy at that. And it was a great night. We were ready for that game. 1-0, it was the score. For me, it was more comfortable, but it was a tough game. If you get what I mean, I felt that we were always in charge of the game that particular night. It was good. It was good to go up. It was great to get move on a bit from that division. You could go through all the team. I mean, you'd Mick McCarthy, who's as good a centre half as you'll ever. When you describe a centre half, he wins the ball in the air against anybody. He battles and fights and competes, and he's a natural defender, and you don't get many of them. Ian Evans was a bit more refined, more quality in the sense that he read the game, he was intelligent, they could play. They were a good partnership. They were a very good partnership. With Phil left back, Phil was a great left back. Phil was one of those players that he stepped up. The better the player that was run about him, the better he became, and he could play, and his distribution was absolutely top draw. Absolutely top draw. The lads in midfield, we had Banger, I'm surprised that Banger didn't play for England. I thought Banger was good enough to have he'd enough in his locker. He was 2-footed. They could get him down. He could play. Everything about him with a great strike, he had a goal in him. He did everything. He had the works. And Remy Hale was a very good player. He a great one-touch player. He saw it, read it, played it quick, and there was everything about him was positive. A real bubbly character when he played, and absolutely first class player. The lads up front were a different class. I mean, you talk about Big Trevor. We were just talking about him yesterday. Trevor had shoulders on him like you'd never seen, and I think I remember when he first came that we saw this big lad, and he was showing us how skillful he was and so on. I know that Norman pushed him up a bit. Norman got him to play a bit further up, and wherever the ball came to him, he had this big frame that the ball just seemed to stick to his chest. He was something else. he was a great player, and he was good to play with. We had a lot of good combinations within the club, within the team, and Derek obviously played well alongside him. Derek was a handful. Derek was unorthodox, and the things that he did, he had goals in him. So we were fortunate. We had some great players.
He was damn
We
good.
really had great players. Alan Clark had his way, and he done well initially, and then moved on to Leeds, and then Norman took over. And Norman took it up to another level, and the one thing about Norman was he always felt very confident with somebody, with a father figure, a figurehead like him at the helm, and training was good. The atmosphere was good, and we were a threat wherever we went, wherever we played. Normally, in your corner, we could compete with anybody. There's so many great games. Again, I think the most memorable one was we played Fulham here. We were 3-0 down after 15 minutes, and it could have been 5, 6, 7. It was, I don't know what happened on the day. We were just getting ripped apart. They were a good side. Malcolm McDonald had a really good side, and we managed to nick a goal just before half time. I think Bayern scored just before half time, and we came in at half time and tried to get things sorted. And Norman was good. Norman was smart. Norman was great. Norman was a great manager in terms of his presence about the place. He always had faith and belief that when you had somebody as strong as that you could do something. And we kind of got ourselves organised. It was a case of not giving much away early on, because we knew we had enough in our locker to score goals. But when you're playing against good teams, the opportunities don't come often. You've got to, and you might only get half a chance somewhere along the line. So you've got to try and maximise that. And Banger scored again, I think after about 20 minutes, to make it 3-2, and we thought, yeah, this is us. We started to just claw our way back in, and I think from the kick-off, we're still at 6s and 7s arguing with each other, and I managed to nick in and make it 3 each. So within a minute, from 3-1 it was 3 each, and there was only one winner then. So games like that was a great game. And Big Tony Curran scored the one goal, you remember. So
Big
which
Tony.
was a ball played to the back post, and Big Tony rose above him. So yeah, it was a great game, and it was good because it's my recollection of Oakwell, because we done it in the field, but the fans done it. You know what I mean? Because that's what you need with any team. You get in a situation. I've been in many games, and the fans and the team are together. But that day, everybody was together. Do you understand what I mean? And that makes a difference. That's the 12th player. But that was a big game. Obviously we had some great games, the cup runs. The pleasing thing for me was that people dismissed us. They thought that we were just stupid people for dingoes who Barnsley.
They still do.
Still
That's the beauty, isn't it?